and welcome to the Our Sustainable World podcast, a series where we travel around the world speaking to the most innovative entrepreneurs who are tackling some of the most challenging sustainability issues that we face today. Today, I'm joined by Fishani Msiska, the CEO of ZASOLAR. Fishani, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And welcome to our apartment here in Lilongwe in Malawi.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you and great to be speaking to you about a topic that's very close to my heart and that excites me a lot, which is solar energy and renewable energy. So I'm very much looking forward to the conversation today.
Thank you once again.
So Fishani, let's just get straight into it. Why is access to electricity in Malawi such a challenge?
Firstly, is this to do with government lack of capacity in terms of financing and lack of human resources. So there's a gap that the government can actually facilitate the energy access. So entrepreneurs come in. So it's because of that gap we have a wider population that is not connected to the grid, and the only option they can have access to electricity is through off-grid options. So that's where we come in as entrepreneurs to help the government to enhance that access gap.
Thanks, Fishani. And can you just tell me a bit more about what the current percentage of people in Malawi who have access to electricity?
It has been at 12%, but with off-grid options now it's moved towards 19%. And out of that, 7% is with off-grid options.
Okay, so off-grid is starting to play quite a large proportion.
Yes, correct.
And people's being able to access electricity in Malawi.
Yeah.
So well, that's quite amazing. So what is the solar industry in Malawi like? Can you just sort of paint that picture for us?
The solar industry in Malawi is actually growing. It's an interesting industry with very young organizations, but we have experienced a huge trend in new companies and entrepreneurs coming in. So at the moment, it's still a growing sector. So most of the companies that are in the solar industry are now operating in rural areas where electricity is a huge problem. So the government, through the Electricity Corporation, they're only able to provide electricity through the grid in mainly urban and peri-urban areas. So the rural areas need companies like my company to offer that through off-grid options. But there's a progressive agenda in terms of the sector, in terms of off-grid companies. The numbers are increasing. The numbers of products on the market is growing every day. So we are very optimistic. I'm very optimistic that this sector is growing.
And what kind of support is there for solar companies in Malawi today? I'm just trying to wonder, is the growth in startups in the solar space driven by there's more government support and more government initiatives that are sort of fueling this, or is it maybe more demand driven, that people are demanding these types of products, which is seeing more businesses appear?
Well, I think mostly it's demand driven. The energy gap is huge, so people want access to electricity and energy. So as companies, we see an opportunity, so we come in to take that as a business opportunity. So of course, the government is doing its part, supported, of course, by development partners, international NGOs, and all that to also do their part. So it's a collaboration between government and private sector, so to speak. So it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in terms of ZASOLAR, what can you just tell us a bit about what kind of services you offer in the solar space?
So as ZASOLAR, we are an energy company that is offering off-grid options. So we have solar home systems to start with for entry-level lighting and phone charging needs. So we offer those products on cash and on pay-as-you-go. So why pay-as-you-go? Most of the rural communities that need access to energy do not have the disposable income to be able to pay upfront costs for the solar system. So we give them an option for installment plans. So they can pay for a product for, let's say, a year, 12 months. And then apart from that, we have a bigger system that target uh, a little more able clients who need bigger systems. For, let's say, powering a TV system, powering a water pump for irrigation, powering a solar system for maybe their chicken business. Uh, so those products may include bigger systems which have bigger panels, batteries, inverters, talk of solar fridges, talk of also chicken egg incubators, and water heaters. So we're talking of productive use of energy here. So people should be able to use the energy to make business and money out of it. So essentially targeting them not just to consume the energy, but make money and grow themselves out of it.
And what was it that drove you to get into the solar space?
Well, my history as an entrepreneur is very interesting. I actually trained as a finance person, worked in finance, but I had a good beginning because I worked at a solar, an international solar company or organization. So I didn't work in the finance department initially. So I had a grounding that actually grew my passion into the solar sector. So I was doing warehousing, product management, customer management. So I got interest from there. But I was lucky to jump into proper finance, where I also got some learning in terms of managing the supply chain systems. So when I decided to quit my finance, I had the beginning. So what led me purely was passion to service. So I grew up in a rural community myself. So I've seen people suffer. I've seen forests cut, and I've used paraffin for lighting throughout my primary and secondary education. So I wanted to create an avenue that I can use to reach out to communities to make an impact. Not that there were no other companies or organizations, but I wanted to do it innovatively, differently, and actually make a contribution that I can, that I'm making right now. So it was pure out of passion for service.
So your own experience of, challenges around access to electricity has driven you to really try and change the narrative in
Exactly,
Malawi.
exactly.
Wow. And we've touched on it a little bit already, but what is the business model for ZASOLAR, and how are you finding and servicing customers across Malawi?
Well, our business model is getting clear as days goes by. But initially, we have used an agent model where we have a centralized warehouse and a network of agents across the country from starting in selected districts. But now it's growing beyond that. We are now creating what we call hubs, where we can centralize ourselves within the rural communities, where people can actually come to get a product, but also after sales service, while we have the agent network. So here you see rural communities can access our products, can access after sales. Our agents can go around the communities and reach out to whoever needs our product. And then it's like we also have a store for those, free movers, passers by, so they can actually see how our products are demonstrated inside the shop kind of model as well. So blending between an agent model and an outlet model. So people can actually come and see our product. People can buy. Our agents can go out, reach out, do community activities to reach out to the customers.
And is that important in Malawi for people to actually be able to see and hold a product before buying it? For example, like they would be less willing to buy something online that they couldn't physically sort of touch.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is a common thing. Malawians have not yet embraced the digital platforms. It's growing every day, and we're making progress as a company ourselves as well to use digital platforms. But we can't rule out the fact that our customers want to see or need to see the product before they purchase. So our agents have to go deep in the rural communities with a product with them, show out to the customers, make a business deal, distribute the products, and to a certain extent, that's where we have coming now with hubs where we can actually put product samples in a store for people to actually visit our place and probably buy or just get the interest from there. But that does not mean we are not interested in digital platforms. We are actually very active as a company. We are actually one of the very progressive companies as regards to digital platforms. If you count in Malawi, probably, if you just Google search, you find us on the top 5, top 10 of just type solar companies in Malawi will pop up. So anyone who wants to reach us out, they can search on Google, Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms just to find us. And they can actually purchase. You find our phone numbers there, our email is there. So you can actually place an order. We can actually deliver to your door without you actually coming to our store. We have done that. We do that. So we are progressive in that as well.
And I'm just wondering, is there a difference in the way you need to approach doing business in rural communities versus doing business in the cities, like Lilongwe and Blantyre and some of the other big towns? Is there anything you need to change in your approach when you're dealing with these communities?
The only difference is the understanding of digital platforms, for instance. So the digital platforms are easily understood by those in town. I think because of certain, let's say, education access or literacy levels. I think the town side is more literate than the rural area. So that's the only difference, and that's why we are setting our hubs first in the rural communities because we know they don't have the easily accessible digital platforms than the town guys.
And I just want to touch upon now your background is finance. I just want to touch upon the finance of solar products because I think it's no surprise that solar products are expensive. So how are people in Malawi affording this, or how is it being funded?
Well, if we talk of customers, it's a bit tricky because the buying power is low. So that's why we bring in the pay as you go. And that's the only easier option. But as a business, we try as much as possible. It's our strategy as well to be one of the most affordable company. Uh, Also, one of the most or easily accessible company when it comes to customers reaching us. So we try as much as possible to make sure that we can reach even the hardest to reach communities ourselves, but also make sure that they are able to reach us in a way. So as a company, we try that to ensure that we uh, we provide that kind of financing mechanism, be cheaper, be affordable to our customers. Now, when it comes to us accessing finance to fund our businesses, there's a bit of a challenge there, but we are trying. We want to grow with time, so we are not really in a uh, hurry in a say. So we want to make sure that we create a market that we can service with our current capacity, but have strategies that can grow our that capacity for us to reach more people. So we are ably looking for access to financing that can actually finance downstream that financing to our end customers as well.
So it sounds like the sort of pay-as-you-go model is perhaps the best strategy for now,
Yes.
given the lower buying power. So could you just talk us through an example of how that would work for, say, I'm an individual,
Yeah.
I come to you and buy the pay-go model. Just can you talk me through the steps and how that all works?
So basically, uh, either you reach us through our social platforms or digital platforms, or our agent is in the rural communities doing their marketing activities. If you want a product, our agent will register you through a registration form online using their mobile phone. That form updates to our main platform online. Through that platform, we're able to activate that product, direct messaging the client on their mobile phone with an activation code. So whether you choose a product to pay for 6 months or a year, which is 12 months, uh, you get a code for 30 days and 30 days. So when you get your first code, you will have paid for 30 days. And then towards the end of the month, you get a message. Your product will be deactivated if you have not paid until you pay for the next 30 days, and so on and so forth. When you are done with your payments, your product is fully activated and is yours for good. As easy as that.
And that really breaks down the high initial cost, into, as you say,
Yes.
12 monthly payments.
Yes.
What's the maximum that people can pay over a period?
The maximum for us now is 12 months, and the monthly payment we try as much as possible to cap it at 15,500 Malawi kwacha. That's for the highest product that goes for 12 months, and then we have another product that goes for like 7 months, 6 months. Yeah.
So around 15,000 kwacha a month,
Yeah.
someone can expect to pay
Yeah.
for access to
Yeah.
electricity. Can you just paint the picture of how that 15,000 a month compares to people's income?
Well, I may not go into so much detail, but the 15,000 kwacha is strategically a figure that we have found based on our internal research that people can actually manage. If you break that down into daily incomes, it actually matches to what a person can actually use to get paraffin or kerosene lamps or candles per day. So that's the basic breakdown I can give. So it's tallied to the affordability of the person to be able to get an alternative lighting device, whether it's a candle or paraffin lamp or cheap battery torch per day. So we align it to that so that we are not expensive than their normal day-to-day expenditures.
So in theory, you're offering almost like a straight switch
Yes.
from
Yes.
paraffin
Yes.
to clean energy, and in theory they shouldn't see too much change in their
Yeah.
financial situation.
That's exactly what we try as much as possible to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great solution or a great offering. So yeah, hopefully you get a lot of uptake on that.
Yeah, the experience is positive. I mean, the challenge is if we had a lot of stocks, we know that the challenge is stocks. But if we had that stock, we'll distribute that easily. So we can't force ourselves to have huge, but are working within our limits. So we grow slow by slow.
So that sort of leads me nicely on to my next question, which is what are the challenges that you face as an organization uh, in your growth journey and for achieving your mission to bring solar to Malawi?
Yeah. So number one challenge is the cash intensiveness of the pay-as-you-go model. It requires us to have a huge number of products in stock for us to give out. We are giving out a product and expecting payment. So it's like we're offering a credit. So we need to have that huge stock holding with us, which is a problem. So it goes down to, maybe it's financing. For sure, for us to get product, we need to have the financing. So number one problem is that the finance for us to have the stocks. Number two problem is the cost of logistics. It's very expensive for us to reach the last mile end user. If we factor in all the costs accordingly, or if we operate like any other companies, you find that the cost of the product ideally should shoot way too high. But that's where our innovation comes in terms of processes. So we try as much as possible to cut down costs to be able to offer a better price to customers while we make a margin for us to keep growing. gradually. So those two major problems.
Yeah, so I suppose when you're giving, products away and you're not getting the money back for them for 12 months, it
Yeah,
doesn't give you the cash you need to then buy the next round of products to give out. So there's almost
absolutely.
a year delay
Yeah,
before you get that investment back to then, you know, um, get stock for your
yeah.
next sort of set of customers. Is there any financial support available for businesses, business loans, or grants that you could tap into?
Well, they are. So there are financing options through local banks. We can be able to get a loan, but the cost of that investment most of the times would be too high.
Mm.
So we tend to avoid that as much as we can. The other option for us that would grow us is access to grants, like you mentioned in your question. There are a number of grants. Some are tied to our capacity to manage such kind of grants, but some are result based. So we have to show and prove that we can actually grow the numbers for us to access such kind of grants. We have been privileged before to access some grants, not too big. If I can mention, we had a grant opportunity from Deep Rise. They gave us our initial grant to start the Pay As You Go program. We had a grant from the Sego Family Foundation. They gave us a grant to scale that Pay As You Go program. And we actually participated in Seed. Seed. We won a Seed Award. The Seed Award actually gave us capacity in terms of training our human resource and refining our business model. Um, that is very good for us, not just finance. They're giving us finance, but on the human resource capacity, very good for us, so that we can actually be able to manage the next level of grants. Yeah. So to answer your question, grants are available. We just have to make sure we are able to access those because they come with conditions.
And just on the loan point, just to give people context, if you were to take a loan today, what would the interest rate percentage be roughly in Malawi?
Wow, the interest rates are quite high. Sometimes it would be 27,
Oh wow.
30%. Of course, they'll try to break down that to 7%, but that would be when the time is progressing, it will still grow back to that 27, 30% kind of.
Yeah.
But the period you get sometimes is good because we can actually get a loan for 24 months, 36 months.
Mm.
Yeah,
But still, the amount you pay back
yeah,
makes it
yeah,
a real challenge.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked a bit about the challenges. Let's, on a more positive note, let's talk about what are some of your successes in your journey. You mentioned the Seed Award.
Yeah.
Are there any others that you want to call out?
Our number one successes is we have reached over 5,000 people in rural communities. I think that's number one because that's what we want to reach people. Just in particular, we were privileged to install 24 solar systems in the southern region of Malawi that are powering internet devices to bring about connectivity in that region which experienced a cyclone. So we are part of that, and it's a privilege for us to be used as a catalyst for change in terms of bringing connectivity in that region. So other than that, it's just the recognition we have received because of our work.
Mm.
So the grants, they come at the back of us doing something good. The awards. I was privileged last year to be part of the very few Malawians that were participating in the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program in the US. That has given me and my organization a huge connections in terms of people that I'm able to talk to. So that is an asset for me. If I'm stranded in something, I can actually check within my network to be able to access maybe a resource, knowledge, sharing kind of ideas. So it comes because we have been able to show our achievement in terms of numbers, successes that have given us to platforms. Thank you.
And yeah, you made a really good point there that I just want to kind of touch upon, because you mentioned connectivity, and it made me sort of remember that it's not about just connecting people to electricity, it's what that enables them to then do. So, be it as simple as they can now have a radio
Yeah.
in their room, or a TV
Yeah.
that gives them access to information. They can listen to the news, they can watch the news, some entertainment as well. But then you go even further, connectivity, access to the internet,
Yeah.
which opens up so many opportunities, work, education. The benefits of just having access to the internet go on, but it all starts with having the electricity to power the tools that enable that connectivity.
Correct.
Yeah. So those 5,000 people have not just got access to electricity; they've got access to opportunity as well.
And the modern small phones, they also have a radio and internet access. So our solar systems, they're able to charge a phone with that. They're able to use their radio with that. So apart from listening to local radios, people are also able to know what's happening out there. So in terms of information, it's not just what we share within Malawi, but what we can learn from outside as well. So we are not supposed to invent or come up with our own information or new knowledge if there's certain knowledge that already exists elsewhere. So we can only do that by learning and sharing and listening to the internet and radios. So it's really huge that we are part of that drive for change.
What advice would you give, having sort of been an entrepreneur in Malawi, of been around for a while? What advice would you give to someone just starting out, a young entrepreneur who wanted to get involved in solar or just entrepreneurship in general?
Uh, I always think that to be an entrepreneur is pretty easy. It starts with your passion, but it's hard if you want to continue to be an entrepreneur because it calls for your consistency with that passion. So you have to stick to what you want to do. So I know I've seen many people wanting to start something and then they stumble on some failure and then they quit. So my advice is don't quit. If you want to start something that can change the world, don't quit. Failure is part of the journey. You learn, you grow, you move, you learn, you grow. After all, it's not about you. It's about the change you want to bring. So you don't want to stop something that will change the world.
And just on that, you learn, you grow, you move, you are continuing to learn and grow and move. So what's next for ZASOLAR?
Well, we are dreaming big. Dreaming big in terms of the numbers we want to reach. We want to reach 1,000 people this year with solar water pumps. It's our special dedication. It's our special project. We want to do that because we believe we can. So nothing is stopping us from venturing into that. We have done numbers before of solar water pumps and solar home systems and other systems. But we're dedicating this year that we want to reach 1,000 with solar water pumps. We know there's a multiplicative impact with that. The solar water pumps are going to be used for cultivation. People grow crops once a year based on rainfall patterns. But with solar pumps, they can actually cultivate twice. So Malawi as an group-based economy, and somehow let's agree or let's mention that we lack enough food. So we want to contribute to that so that people should have food to feed themselves. They should have some produce to sell to enhance their economic activity, their income levels. So we can only do that by joining those who are in that sector of irrigation. We are already in there, but growing our numbers intentionally just to make sure that our impact levels are going up all the time. So that's our dedication in terms of the project. Largely, we are dedicating ourselves to also open the hubs. This first quarter of the year, we're opening our first hub in northern Malawi, Karonga, Rumpi area, where we want people to come and see those products, to come and learn. So we're giving out a platform, not just for access to products, but a platform where people can actually learn as well. We want to partner with youth and women to give them an opportunity to learn what we do in terms of products, how to fix a product, you know, those kind of services that people need most other than just a product.
And then final question from me. What if you've mentioned what you want to achieve in sort of the next year? In 10 years' time, if we were to come back to Malawi, what impact do you hope that ZASOLAR and the wider solar industry would have had on access to electricity in Malawi?
Going by the Malawi 2063 agenda, our aim is to contribute to access to energy from 19% towards 30%. We want to play a big role in that. And we know that the Sustainable Development Goals call for our action as well in terms of enhancing access to energy. We want to be a part of that. Well, we can be talking of maybe 100% access, but maybe it may be too ambitious goal, but we want to see Malawi moving towards that direction where every Malawian has got access to lighting, number one, so that they can be able to do their work. You know, students can be able to study at night, teachers can be able to prepare their lesson plans, and farmers can be able to work extra hours at night. And many other people should be able to actually do their normal activities without a hindrance because of lighting. And of course, other advantages like access to information. People should know when the weather is changing through the radios. We are living in a world where climate change is real, and the gap in terms of access to information cannot be left out. And you know, access to information through access to energy is very important.
Shani, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a great conversation to learn more about ZASOLAR and the solar industry and the solar opportunity here in Malawi. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you for having me, and thank you for your time as well.